I'm sixth generation that I know of. It may go even further back than that. My father has owned a business here for 30 years. He now owns it in DWG, and I've owned businesses here for about the last 3.5 years.
That's awesome. This is a real hard-hitting question, and I think Amy wants to ask this one.
Yes. Can you please tell me who is your favorite Beatle?
I mean, this is clearly important to you because you're asking me. Can you tell me why?
She just loves the Beatles.
Yeah.
We just want to have fun with it.
It's a fun question to get to know, your personality, that kind of stuff. So, John, Paul, George, Ringo. Do you have a favorite Beatle?
There is a wrong answer, and it's Ringo.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's not the wrong answer. And why? Why is this person your favorite Beatle?
Well, you're going to have to help me with the name, to be honest with you. I know who it is. I think it's Paul.
Is he the bass player?
No, he's the singer.
Yeah, he sings too.
Paul? Okay.
Paul is the one with the singer who the brown
and it's
hair.
a little shaggy, peppered now. Is that right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of the ones that's still alive.
So actually, my dad was adamant on me watching this segment of him with that guy that interviews people in the cars where he sings along with them.
James Corden. Yeah.
What is it?
James Corden, the car karaoke guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Carpool karaoke.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're into the Beatles and you haven't seen this, I strongly recommend that you watch it because Paul goes into detail about why he wrote Let It Be.
Oh, awesome.
And it's actually about his mom who had passed when he was a young man. And he had a dream that she was just saying, listen, you're going through a lot of things, just let it be. Just let it be. And so he wrote it about his mom. And they went into his old house, and everybody was waiting by the time they got back. But he was talking about how his dad used to have to slip him in and out of the house and hide him. But, yeah, it was a really moving segment. So it's going to have to be Paul after I saw that.
All right. Good answer. I think Darrel has one more question.
Okay. It's another hard hitter.
Yeah.
What is your favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Ooh, Corky's.
Corky's, okay. Over
Brick
on
Oven.
Little Road?
Yes, by the LA Fitness.
Yeah.
And I love their business model that they close, like, I think it's over the winter or something.
I don't think I've been to that one. I need to go.
It's excellent.
It's delicious.
Why did you say Corky's when I asked you that
I said
earlier?
Domino's
You
earlier.
said Domino's. You said Domino's was your favorite
It's got to
pizza
be locally owned if I pick something.
Right, okay. That's all. We're going to be on a pizza mission, so Corky's will definitely be on the list.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any last message for voters that you want them to know before we're done?
Or what would be the first thing that you would hope to accomplish on city council? Either of those questions would be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, these are actually tough questions.
Wow,
because
my high school journalism paid off.
I'm actually digging this. If y'all do it again, please invite me. I'm loving it. There's a great energy here. The truth is, Mayor Williams' top 3 priorities are kindness by learning from other cultures, his impact that he's made in education, where now AISD is failing in every measurable metric, literally, and transportation, because he's the commissioner of the North Texas High-Speed Rail, and he wants to bring high-speed rail to Arlington, which would cost $62 million per mile, and he says it would cost the taxpayer $0, but it's government-backed loans, and so when it fails, and it will, we will pay for it. So those are his 3 priorities. Mine are a lot tougher. I'm bringing Sheriff Joe to town April 8th. I've taken an unbelievable amount of backlash for that. And every single time that happens, I just feel like I get stronger. It's almost like a steroid shot. Every time you turn me away, every time someone makes it difficult, it just empowers me. And these are not easy things. We have let a few things manifest in our city that now have to be taken care of, and it's going to be a Band-Aid ripped off. So if I'm going to start easy, the easiest tasks will be instructing our police force, deciding if Chief Will Johnson can hang, because if he can't, he is approved by city and mayor. So is the city manager, Trey Elverton, so I hope he can hang as well. We'll comb through the ordinances, create an ambassadorship, and go to the effective property tax rate. And then the hard stuff will take a couple months. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say we may not agree on the political spectrum, but I really appreciate that you've taken the time to like understand and really be involved in the city. You know who the key players are, and you know you are working to foment change, and I think that that's really cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I really want to support you guys, so please invite me back. And
Okay.
yeah,
Right on.
I
We
love
sure will.
it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Yeah.
All right, we are sitting here today with Cindy Golden, running for District 4. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's a
We
pleasure.
just have a little fun conversation today. One of the first things we just want to know is, why are you right for the office? Why did you want to run for city council, and why should people vote for you?
I'm right for the office because I'm qualified. I've had 30 years of leadership experience. I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a nurse anesthetist. So I'm a registered nurse, an advanced practice registered nurse, and a certified registered nurse anesthetist. And besides my clinical capacity, I've been in administration and leadership for the last 15 years. I'm the chief of nurse anesthesia at Methodist Dallas, where I manage multi-million-dollar budgets, allocate resources, hire, fire, as well as my clinical practice, actually giving anesthesia in the operating room. I think that's a qualification that's really important because I interact with people from all walks of life, all socioeconomic groups, all diversities on a daily basis in an arena where trust is implicit. So I think that's a really important qualification. Why am I running? Well, the time is good for me because I'm looking at retirement and I'll have 100% of my time to devote to the council because I think it is really a full-time job. In our district, it's the first time that the incumbent who had been in this role for 16 years is not there. So the opportunity arose for many of us. And I'm running because I want to serve the citizens of Arlington and advocate for them just like I've advocated for my patients for 40 years. I've been a nurse for 40 years.
Excellent, thank you. How did the term limits campaign play into your decision to run? Did it change the way that you're thinking about spending if you were to win, your 2 terms? What was your position on that?
Well, I believe in term limits, and I believe that decision was profoundly voted on by the citizens. Over 62% of the people voted for term limits.
Right.
I had always planned to run, but the opportunity arose and it bumped it up a little bit earlier for me. What was your other question, Amy?
How would it change the way that you would spend your 2 terms? Now
Okay.
you only have 2.
6 years at the most, right. Well, I always have a sense of urgency. When you work in the operating room, everything works very quickly. And there's always a sense of urgency about getting things done. And I think, honestly, with term limits, there's probably going to be more of a sense of urgency for whoever sits in this seat to accomplish what they want to accomplish or to lay the groundwork for those long-term processes that will be sustainable and go on past their tenure in the seat. It's going to be interesting that one of the things I think is probably not so good with 2 years is you get elected, you get going, and then you're facing re-election. So I think that's a little going to be challenging, but it is what it is. And I certainly abide by what the citizens voted for.
Okay.
Excellent.
How long have you been in Arlington?
32 years.
32 years. All right.
I've lived in the same house for 32
Okay,
years.
right on. I'd just like to ask, some people, I'm from here. Amy's a California transplant.
Yeah,
so
I'm not from here.
it's interesting to see how everyone gets here.
Yes, and also, interestingly enough, we lived here for a while when I was a child. My daddy owned a hamburger/beer joint across the street from General Motors when I was 10 years old.
Okay.
And Arlington was 40,000 people then. There were only 2 places that were open overnight, and one was my daddy's place called Mr. Hamburger, and the other was the Bullpen, which was located on Division. So
Okay.
Arlington was a very different city back then.
Yeah, 40,000 people versus almost 400,000
Yes,
today.
and University of Texas at Arlington was then called Arlington State College.
Wow, it's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So speaking of changes and things in the past, who is your favorite Beatle and why?
Well, I'd have to say Paul McCartney because he was so handsome. All the girls loved Paul McCartney. But I was intrigued by John Lennon because he was such a poet. And I loved Ringo because he was so wacky and goofy. And then George Harrison, of course, who plays the guitar better than that. Right. But as a tweener, it had to be Paul.
All right. And I've got another hard-hitting question. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite pizza place in Arlington?
Well, I'm going to tell you. My husband is a pilot, and he eats out 150 days a year. So our favorite pizza place is our own kitchen at home where we cook and have pizza and salad.
Fair enough.
But my favorite restaurant is Mac's Bar and Grill on I-20.
Okay.
Excellent. I was just there this week. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Last question we have for you. What would be the first thing you would hope to accomplish should you win?
The first thing I really want to accomplish is something I've identified as a huge problem in our district and maybe citywide. There hasn't, at least the perception among citizens is that there hasn't been much responsiveness in the city council. And the first thing I would do would be to plan town hall meetings every quarter. And I would establish an email newsletter so that I could send out information to the citizens in a way that they can receive it. The typical answer has always been, well, they can go to the website. Well, the website hasn't always been clear. There are some people who are not comfortable doing that. And I feel the best way to reach the citizens is face-to-face and talking to them. So that would be the very first thing that I would try to accomplish.
Okay, sounds good.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us. We really enjoyed it. We're looking forward to seeing how this election plays out, and we'd love to have you back.
Thank you. I'd be very willing to come back one way or the other.
All right.
I'll tell you, it's really fun. Campaigning is fun. You meet lots of wonderful people. You learn more than you ever thought you would. And it's a wonderful experience. And personally, I'm trying to focus on the journey just as much as the destination. Okay. So I'm off to Block Walk today.
Right on.
Excellent.
It'll be fun.
I
Thank
think
you
lots of people are.
Yes. And thank you very much for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate the opportunity to talk to the citizens of Arlington.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are here with Teresa Rushing. She is running for District 4. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
The first question we want to have is kind of a multi-part question. What makes you right for the office? Why do you want to run? And why should people vote for you?
What makes me right for the office is I plan on being an independent, principled voice for the citizens, the homeowners that make this city run every day. I have 20 years of supply chain management experience working for American Airlines. And on top of that, I've been involved in local, county, state, and national level politics for about 6 years now. I've served as the state and national delegate for the Libertarian Party conventions in 2014, 2016, and 2018. And I am also the treasurer for the Tarrant County Libertarian Party.
Okay, right on.
Excellent. What did you think about the term limits campaign, and how will that decision affect the way you think about how you would spend your time in office once you were elected?
Well, you'll have to hit the ground running, that's for sure, because, I mean, even one term, 2 years, if the voters don't like how I handle things, I could get voted out after 2 years. And plus, I'm not running to be a career politician. I just see some things going on in our city that I think I can help fix.
What are those things?
There's some issues with the water department. People are getting overbilled by like hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars because their meter either wasn't read or it was read incorrectly. And it takes a very long time for people to get their money back once the city finally admits that they have made a mistake. Yeah, so that's something we need to work on.
Okay. How long have you been in Arlington?
I moved to Arlington in the summer of 1980. It's probably one of the worst heat waves we've ever seen in the Metroplex. That's how my parents describe it. I don't know quite so well because I was only a year old at the time.
Right.
And I've lived in Arlington my whole life.
Who's your favorite Beatle and why?
That is a tough one. Oh, wow.